Good morning, everyone. All right, another one of those days where I've made this video I don't know how many times, so hopefully this is going to do it. One of those days. All right, so this is a little different kind of video. It's an update, a long-term update on a knife that I made for a gentleman in Maine a little over a year ago. Okay, now he did tell me that he was very hard on his knives, or at least used them very hard, and he needed a tough knife that was going to hold up. And I assured him that my knives can certainly take, normal type of use for what he had intended. Now, so this one right here is what it was. He sent it back to me because he wants me to make another sheath for him. Okay, this is a scout sheath, but he wanted a vertical sheath. Okay, and I prefer to have the knife here. It's always better to have the knife here to actually wet form it around, or the leather to be wet formed around each knife, which is what I do with all my knives. Okay, now this one he did ask for a little bit larger blade. This is one of those Nessmuck patterns. Okay, just like I've been showing recently. Quite a few of the short videos that I put up have been about the one that I have made. I've got a couple of them actually, and this one came in, and I thought, well, let's do an update, long-term update, and see what it looks like after a year of being batoned and used hard and handle everything. And I'll tell you, it looks pretty good. You see, he keeps it sharp. He says no problem sharpening. It holds an edge good, which I know because I've made knives for a while now, and it's rugged, which is that I know too because I've torture tested my knives before, but I always like to hear back from my customers to see what they think as time has gone on their knives. So he's actually sent me pictures of him batoning this knife through yellow birch. Now, for anybody out there who knows what yellow birch is, that's one tough wood. I cringed a little bit when I saw him doing it, but I knew it would be all right, and it's held up well. Now, the other part of a knife when it's used like that is the handle. Now, if you don't do that handle right and put it on epoxy pinned and all the usual stuff, it's going to come off. Really, really hard use, and that's not that's not coming off. Again. I've made these knives for a long time now, and I've torture tested them on my own. And this one's held up with that reclaimed barnwood from here in Vermont that I made a table out of years and years ago, and I still have some left. Not lots of character. It's just a beautiful wood. Now this one had some fancy jimping on it. He wanted that too, and that's a full 3/16 thick. All right, which is just about what I typically do, that 5/32, depending on what knife it is. And as I say, other than a couple of, you can see a little bit of those little marks right there from going through the wood, which is perfectly normal. Shines it up a little bit as it goes down through the wood when you're batoning. This knife is in as good a shape as it was when I got it, when I sent it out to him. Other than being he says, well, he keeps his knives very clean, or very sharp, but not always that clean. So I'll get that all tuned up for him. Chris, this will be coming back to you here shortly. I'll get that new sheath for you made up, and off it'll go. Now, just to compare it with my standard model Nessmuck. Okay, this one I showed here before on another one of my short videos. Like I said, this one is actually available. Believe it or not, I've had it up on my site for a couple of days. Oh, that other big one that I had mentioned about when I had that video of available knives, the big St. Lawrence one, that's gone, sold. But this one is still available. Okay, apparently hasn't found the right owner yet. That one's got an American walnut handle. Okay, now this is just a little shorter, about a half an inch shorter. Regular standard jimping on that one. Nothing, not the fancy file work one that I put on his. But nevertheless, just as rugged and heavy duty. I don't know. It's I'm not sure if I prefer the shorter blade or not, but really, now I've talked about this before on one of my other Nessmuck videos. A really weird name too. That shape is just damn weird. It kind of grows on you after a little while, and as far as I'm concerned, form follows function here. It's just I have no use for anything fancy. That doesn't serve any purpose other than to look good. It has to work. A knife has to do what it's intended to do. Now, the gentleman that invented this, that Nessmuck guy there, he came up with a pattern that has been in use for a long, long time now, and that's because it works. Feels good, does feel good in the hand. It does, even though it looks, clunky, maybe, I don't know. And it's got that big belly on it. Okay, big spot right here. Okay, that's a real good spot right there to whack it with the batoning. Now I had a I had a club around here that I use for my batoning when I'm doing it, but I don't have it here now. Anyway, that's the spot right there. You hit with another piece of wood when you're trying to break up kindling wood, and of course that big belly on there makes for an outstanding skinning blade. You can choke up on it, hold up real close. So, even considering how big of that long of a blade that is, that does really good for, for skinning and processing. It's just, it's a good knife. It really is. It's a good pattern, even though it may be a little odd looking. So, okay. And again, this one's available on my site. All the links and everything are in my description. Now, I even have a list because I had so many things I wanted to talk about today. Okay, compared to, yeah. All right, now, this is what it looks like. This is what one of those Nessmucks look like before I hit the grinder. Everything's all epoxied up, and the pins are in place, the lanyard, all that stuff is there. You wouldn't know it, but that is tiger maple on the handle. You really can't tell until I grind it out, and of course put the finish on that pulls all the grain out. Now, I use G-Flex epoxy. Okay, it's a marine grade heavy duty epoxy. It's kind of the gold standard of knife makers. There's a whole bunch of new other ones out there now, but this is a tried and true epoxy, and I'm sorry, but I just don't like to test things to have, okay, maybe it works good or not. But anyway, I like using tried and true products that are going to hold up, and these do. And as I say, it's a marine grade, heavy grade, heavy duty epoxy. Certainly can take any kind of water and moisture type things. Anyway, we'll see how this one comes out. This one is spoken for. This is for an order, so sorry about that one. But that other one, like I said. Now, okay, here's another Kephart. Okay, now this leads me into my other thing that I'm going to talk about. I've been mentioning quite a bit about some changes on the wait list. Okay, now that's coming up here pretty quick. What I'm going to do, all right, is I'm going to allot 6 Kephart knives. That'll be the first pattern that's coming up. Okay, 6 Kepharts, and I'll have a listing on my site. I've got to change a few things on there. There'll be all the particulars about left, right hand, blade length, because those come in 3 different blade lengths. What you'll have the option of whatever wood handle you'd like to have for the handle, and whatever other particulars. Now, what will happen is when those 6 are sold, taken orders for, and I am going to require a deposit on these. Now, I've had an instance here just recently. Now, I've had a lot of people on the wait list asking for a knife, and that's fine. That's the whole point. But when I get a knife done for them, I don't like taking any money up front. I just don't. I don't like that on my site either. There's an option there to pay for it in full if you'd like to. I don't like to do that. I'd like to have the knife done, and when it's done, then you're contacted and you're all set to go. You pay for it and all set. What has recently happened is that they haven't paid for it. They haven't come back and bought it for whatever reason, and that gets my hair up a little bit. Okay, now obviously I've sold the knives, and that's fine. But there's going to be a deposit required on these 6 knives that I've got coming up. Okay, that's just to keep everybody, the ones that are serious, and not just pulling my chain here, because that just doesn't sit well with me. Okay, no big deal, just a small deposit, and when the knife is done, you'll be sent an invoice from my site to pay the balance off. And I'll ship it out, and off we go. Everybody be happy. That'll be the first run of Kepharts. The next ones will be Hudson Bays, because those are the 2 top most popular knives I make. All right. So now to the next thing is I'm making a new type of style grind on the knives. The bushcraft guys out there are really into that Scandi grind. Yeah, okay. All my knives right now, these are called saber grinds. Okay, it's way up there, grinds up high. It's not the full length grind, like, a full length grind is called a full length grind. And of course, I like leaving the forging marks on there because they are hand forged, and I like to show it that way. Now the Scandi grind, guys, that grind is only maybe a half an inch from the bottom. All right, I'm not entirely certain. Well, apparently it holds an edge better, or well, I don't know if it's any better than this one, but it's very popular in the bushcraft. Guys had some requests, so I'm going to make a couple of knives with the Scandi grind on it, a couple of patterns that I already make, and then they'll have that particular grind on there. That next one will probably be the bushcraft woods knife with a Scandi grind. So stay tuned for that. Now, those don't take as long to make. There's a lot of effort into grinding all that up there. Again, these knives are forged. They're hand forged, and I forged the bevels. Okay, but then obviously it has to be ground down to get it that way. That's not going to be the case with the Scandi grind. All right, they're gonna be forged. The distal taper, everything, the blade's going to be tapered down, everything. But the grind the bevel will not be forged in like my standard ones. So consequently, that's going to take me a lot less time to do, and that will reflect in the price too. They'll be cheaper, less expensive knives. I don't want to say cheap. It's less expensive. Okay. Okay. That's it. I had to make a list. So, thank you again, everybody. Please like and subscribe, like I always forget to ask for. And if you haven't already, and stay tuned for next one. I have a spoiler alert here, okay, if you guys are still watching me at this point in the video. Got a big D-ring, D-handle fighting knife coming up here soon. If you punch that in on Google or something, it's Confederate Bowie, or, they were big back in the Civil War. What it is it's the handle, and then it's got a metal D-ring that comes around here, and then it goes up a little higher. It's kind of cool. Anyway, not sure when that'll be done, but just like I said, a spoiler alert. So that's going to be coming up here soon. Anyway, thanks everybody. Have a good day, and really appreciate everybody watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks again.